Hello, my dear friends. Dear friends, I am back with certain important facts, those facts that are very, very important for understanding one among the greatest novelists of America of 20th century, that is Ernest Miller Hemingway. Ernest Miller Hemingway, one of the most important 20th century novelist from the USA, and I have brought some bullet points on this greatest American who is the part of the competitive examination almost everywhere across our country and even across the world. So now let's look at those certain very, very important facts and points related to this novelist. Ernest Miller Hemingway. Remember this, this is the full name. Generally, he is known as Ernest Hemingway, but full name Ernest Miller Hemingway. B stands for birth. He was born on July 21st, 1899 at Oak Park, Illinois, an upper suburb in Chicago. Remember that. Death, D stands for death, July 2nd, 1961 in Casham, Idaho. Shot himself. So see, his death was quite sensational. Why? Because he put a bullet in his brain. Means he committed suicide by shooting himself. Quite or similar in the fashion of his own father, just you can say this Dr. Eid, who also committed suicide when he had been probably struggling with some financial issues and some medical condition. So, how did he die? He committed suicide by shooting himself. Father Clarence Edmund, known as Dr. Eid. Remember this, his father committed suicide by using a certain revolver. He shot himself. In the same manner, Ernest Hemingway too committed suicide by shooting himself. So father Dr. Clarence Edmonds, also known as Dr. Eid. Mother, M stands for mother, Grace Hall Hemingway. Remember, 4 times he married, 4 times he tied nuptial what? Not once or thrice, but 4 times he tied the nuptial knot. Nuptial knot. First marriage with Elizabeth Hadley Richardson, year 1921. Second marriage, remember this is second marriage, Pauline Pfeffer, 1927 probably. He divorced Richardson maybe in 1926, and 1927 married to this was his second wife Pauline. Third marriage 1940 with Martha Gellhorn. Martha Gellhorn was his third wife, whereas fourth marriage with Mary Wells in 1946. So remember this, first wife Elizabeth Hadley Richardson, second Pauline, third Martha Gellhorn, and last but not the least, just Mary Wells in 1946. Remember that. Couldn't be part of US Army in World War I due to eye injury. And remember that he wanted to serve his country in the World War I, and he wanted to enlist himself in his in the army of his own country, but because of the weak eyesight or because of the some eye injury, he couldn't enlist himself in the army of his own country. Then he went to Italy and there he served. He served in the World War One as ambulance driver in Italian army. And while working as ambulance driver, many times just he suffered this injury, that injury in trying to save and rescue or driving the just injured or wounded soldiers from the battlefield to the hospitals. And it was all because of that he was awarded, he was given the gold medal for the bravery by the Italian government. And later on, he also served in the Italian army. Remember these facts. These facts are very important. So see, just couldn't be part of the US Army in World War One due to eye injury. Joined Kansas City Star as a reporter. So maybe it was his first venture as a journalist with Kansas City Star as a reporter. Later on, joined Italian army as I told you as ambulance driver in World War One. Suffered multiple times in World War One. Remember, this is very important. The term code hero associated with him, the term code hero is associated with this man. And what kind of this code hero was supposed to be, according to just Ernest Miller Hemingway? A hero, one who is very honest, very much dedicated, hardworking, and very much, you can say, one who is dedicated or given himself to the good cause, is a kind of a code hero for Ernest Hemingway. And some of his heroes are code heroes. Term code hero associated with him. First writing experience, trapeze and tabula. So first writing experience he had with this, maybe just a magazine or the newspaper, maybe. Important works. Now the important works, particularly he is known for his great novels as well as some very, very important short stories. Like very important in the first novel, Torrents of Spring, that came in 1926, first novel. This was his first novel. And the same year, his another very, very important novel came. And he is known all over the world for this novel, that is Fiesta, or The Sun Also Rises. 1926, a novel in 19 chapters. Remember this. He wrote this novel in 19 chapters. And the next very, very important novel of Farewell to Arms, 1929, in 32 chapters. And this novel is actually based on his war experience, that experience that he got while working as an ambulance driver in the Italian army. Next very, very important novel, To Have and Have Not, 1937. And then again, this is very important, For Whom the Bell Tolls, 1940, 43 chapters. Across the River and Into the Trees, 1950. Very, very important novel, very, very important. His magnum opus, most important work, The Old Man and the Sea, 1952. And probably In 1953, this novel fetched him his first Pulitzer Prize, and in 1954 he got the highest award of the world, that is Nobel Prize. Remember this. 1953 he got Pulitzer Prize, and in the following year he got the highest civilian honor, that is the Nobel Award, Nobel Prize. The Old Man and the Sea spans over a period of 5 days. It's all about a Cuban fisherman named Santiago, and he shows the struggle of the man against the nature, how the man struggles against the nature. Nature is not always Nature is not always so sweet and so loving and so mother-like, just caring, or gives the care the mother gives in the poems of Wordsworth. But here we see this struggle of this old fisherman who is from Cuba. How does he go? How does he go without fishing for more than 83 days approx, and maybe on the 84th or the 85th day he at last succeeds in catching a gigantic fish, that is marlin. So this novel is very, very important, and I'll recommend you to go through this novel if possible. I won't recommend you to go through any other novels of this man, but this is a very, very important novel, and better if you go through this novel, The Old Man and the Sea, 1952. Next, non-fiction. In our time, very important non-fiction, 1924, short stories. Collection of short stories. Men Without Women, again, collection of short story, 1927. The Snows of Kilimanjaro, 1936, again short stories. Men at War, 1942, war anthology. The Nick Adam Stories, 1972, again a series of stories in which Nick Adam is the central character, means the protagonist. Death in the Afternoon, this is the noon, not hour. 1932, non-fiction, The Green Hills of Africa, 1935, and this work is supposed to be the autobiographical work of Ernest Miller Hemingway. That's it, my dear just friends. I hope these bullet points will help you develop your understanding about this great literary, just a figure of America of 20th century. Very soon I'll bring for you the summary of most of the important novels of this novelist. Thank you, my dear friends.